People-pleasing doesn't make you nice. It makes you invisible. Here's why. Every time you say yes when your body's screaming no, you erase a piece of yourself. Your needs, your opinions, your identity, all edited out so someone else can stay comfortable. And what's left? A version of you that doesn't really exist. Just a mask you put on so no one gets upset. That's not kindness, that's survival. And psychology has a name for it, the Fawn response. You've heard of fight, flight, and freeze, but there's a fourth survival response, Fawn. It's when your nervous system senses danger, or even just the possibility of rejection, and instead of protecting yourself by fighting or running, you protect yourself by pleasing. You laugh when something isn't funny. You nod along when you disagree. You apologize just to make tension go away. And every time you do it, you trade a piece of yourself for the illusion of safety. Think about the last time you agreed to something you didn't want, just to keep someone else comfortable. How did you feel afterwards? Fawning is almost always learned. Maybe you had a parent who blew up when you pushed back, or a caregiver who pulled away if you asked for too much. Maybe love felt conditional, safe only when you were easy, quiet, or helpful. So your body learned, don't make waves, keep them happy. That's how I survive. That was brilliant survival as a child. But here's the catch. Your nervous system never got the memo that you grew up. Now, even as an adult, it still runs the same code. If I upset them, I'm not safe. Even when the danger is long gone. And this is how it shows up today. Your boss dumps extra work on your desk and your mouth says, "No problem," while your brain screams, "I can't handle this." A friend asks what movie you want, and you say, "Whatever you want," even though you're sick of Marvel sequels. On a date, you laugh at something you don't agree with just to keep the vibe light. Or this one's heavy. You agree to physical affection you don't actually want, because saying no feels more dangerous than going along. Have you ever left a night out, or even a relationship, thinking, "I don't even know why I said yes"? That's the Fawn response still running the old survival script. But here's the part that stings. When you fawn long enough, you don't just lose arguments or opportunities. You lose yourself. Think about it. If you spend years agreeing to things you don't want, laughing at jokes you don't like, saying yes when you mean no, what's left of you? That's the true cost of fawning. It doesn't just keep the peace, it robs you of identity. At first it feels like safety. People like you. Nobody's upset. The storm passes. But over time, the cost builds. When was the last time you caught yourself saying yes and later thought, "That wasn't me at all"? You start to believe your worth only exists in how agreeable you are. You feel guilty for simply having needs. You scan every interaction, terrified you've upset someone. And worst of all, you lose track of who you are when no one else is watching. It's like living behind glass. People see a polished version of you, but the real you, untouched, unknown, sometimes even to yourself. And here's where it gets painful. Fawning doesn't just erase you, it actually starves your relationships, because when you constantly smooth things over, sacrifice your needs, always agree, the other person never meets the real you. They fall in love with the mask. And what happens then? You end up in one-sided friendships, draining partnerships, even toxic relationships, because fawning attracts people who like control. The cruel paradox is this: the thing you do to keep connections safe is the very thing that destroys it. But here's the hope. Fawning is learned, which means it can be unlearned. And you don't have to flip from pushover to selfish. That's just another mask. The real path is teaching your body it's safe to be visible, safe to disappoint, safe to be you. But here's the catch. Your body won't believe you just because I said that. You can't logic your way out of a survival pattern. That's why you need practice. Small, repeatable drills that retrain your nervous system. Think of them as reps at the gym, but instead of building muscle, you're building safety in your own skin. So let's walk through 3 simple drills. Each one is designed to push gently against your fawning reflex and remind your body, I can exist and I can be seen. Tool number 1, micro boundaries. When was the last time you agreed to hang out or take on a task when you were exhausted and later resented yourself for it? That's where we start. Tiny boundaries. Imagine a friend asks you to grab dinner after the longest week of your life. Old you says yes automatically, then stews about it later. New you tries. Not tonight, but thanks for asking. That's it. You just survived saying no. The friendship didn't collapse. The world didn't end. And every small no is a rep for your nervous system, teaching it, it's safe to disappoint. I can survive this. Tool number 2, nervous system reset. Here's the secret. Fawning isn't just mental, it's physical. Your chest tightens, your voice shakes, your stomach knots. Think about a time you said yes instantly and only later realized your body felt tense the entire time. That's why before you answer anyone, you reset your body. Box breathing. Inhale for 4, hold for 4, exhale for 4, hold for 4. Butterfly taps. Cross your arms. Gently tap each shoulder back and forth. Grounding phrase out loud. It's safe to disappoint. I can survive this. Picture this. Your boss asks you to stay late. Instead of blurting yes, you pause, you breathe, your body calms, and suddenly you realize you have space to say, I can't tonight, but I'll prioritize it first thing tomorrow. That pause, that's where your freedom lives. Tool number 3, letting people be disappointed. This one's brutal, but it's the breakthrough. Think back. When someone looked annoyed with you, how fast did you scramble to fix it? Here's the drill, don't fix it. Someone sighs, rolls their eyes, says, wow, I thought you'd help. And your entire body screams, fix it, make it right. But you don't. You breathe. You let them feel their feelings, and you let yourself exist alongside it. Every rep of this proves to your body, someone else's disappointment is not a death sentence. You're still here, you're still safe, and that survival, that's where real freedom begins. If this is hitting home, pause for a second. Like this video, subscribe, and hit the bell. Because here, we're not just talking psychology, we're breaking down the survival patterns that quietly run your life, and giving you the tools to break free. Now let's put it all together. Everything you've practiced, micro-boundaries, nervous system resets, letting people be disappointed, this is the final exam, your relationships. Pick one safe person in your life and try a small act of honesty. Instead of defaulting to agree, try, actually, I'd rather pizza than sushi tonight. I don't love horror movies. I'd rather a comedy. I need a quiet night in instead of going out. Those sound small, but here's why they matter. Each one is you saying, I exist. Imagine how different your relationships would feel if you could say no without guilt, or share what you actually think without second-guessing. That's when the shift happens. Because the people who truly love you don't want the mask, they want you. And the more you practice showing up, the more you'll discover who's safe to keep close, and who only loved the mask. The real win isn't just learning to say no. The real win is rediscovering who you are without fawning. Because when you stop disappearing, you start noticing your actual preferences, your actual limits, your actual voice. And that's when relationships transform, from shallow peacekeeping to real intimacy. And here's the part no one tells you. Breaking the fawn response doesn't just change how others see you. It changes how you see you. You start to trust yourself. You start to respect yourself. You realize, I don't have to earn safety by shrinking. That's when the invisible parts of you start coming back into focus. So the next time your brain whispers, are they mad at me? Pause, breathe, remind yourself, I don't need to earn safety by disappearing. If you've been living invisible for years, hear this. You're not broken. You were surviving. And survival is nothing to be ashamed of. But now, you get to do more than survive. Fawning doesn't make you nice, it makes you invisible. And breaking it? That's not about becoming rude. It's about becoming real. Because the real you, the one who says no, who has opinions, who takes up space, is the one who can finally be loved, respected, and seen. And that kind of safety? That's the kind you never have to beg for again.